Morning guys, it's day 20, I'm here at work. So I thought I'd show you what I do with the whole middle. It's called the middle of the pig. So it's the loin attached to the belly. And this is how I prep it, ready for, so it's been hanging in the chiller for 24 hours. It's dried out even more now, it's been smoked. Now I'm going to stick it in the freezer for a few hours. And just to firm it up a bit so they can go into the old chop slicer over there. And I've just got to put these down the bottom. Bit of baking paper down the bottom. There's a whole belly out of the chiller, been hanging in there, dried out nicely. You see there, that's the loin, and that's your belly along there. So I've got to cut that loin off the belly. You tend to want about, to have your sort of beautiful, perfect belly, that little bit that goes up the top, that's your attached to the belly there. So you want about 1 inch to 2 inches up there as well. So you just get a nice big sharp knife. And along you go. There's a perfect loin there. Doesn't need any trimming. To the container. Trim a bit of the excess off here. Off this belly. That's a good looking belly. There's a bit of fat there that's coming at the end. Cut that off. Trim that off there. Perfect. But while I'm doing this, I could just talk to you. That chiller's going to probably kick in a minute. Be very noisy. Hopefully I've got that set up right so you can see me. It's my new camera, a good one. But a lovely little story out of Scotland I saw this morning. The big problem worldwide is the deaths occurring mostly in the 80 plus population. So as we know in New Zealand, care homes are a major problem. And what's been happening there is obviously the caregivers coming into work every day, changing shifts and all that sort of stuff. It only takes one of them to be positive and it will spread like wildfire through the care home. It's not unique to New Zealand, it's all over the world. But there's a little place called St David's in Forfar in Scotland, and the care staff there, 12 of them, I don't know if there's more, but 12 have decided to go and live in the care home, be part of the whole bubble, so they can live with the aged patients of theirs, customers, whatever you want to call them, clients. They can live with them 24/7 so that they're completely locked down, nobody in and out. They just stay there, and it's a fantastic idea. Huge commitment on their part, and a huge sacrifice, on their part. But it's a lovely news story. I was thinking, could we do that here? Because it seems to be the major problem. Yeah, so they go in the freezer. Another interesting fact, I've talked about this before and I'm still amazed that there's no studies on it because it's clinically proven. And I'm talking about the vitamin D again. It's been that's the loin there, in the middle, smaller piece. But it's been clinically proven that vitamin D builds immunity. That's not wacky naturopathy or anything like that. Clinical people know that. And I've mentioned this before about the African Americans, and anyone with darker skin, they get less vitamin D. it takes the sun, it's harder to absorb it as much as white-skinned people. And then interestingly, you know, in the States, I've mentioned this before, you know, 76% of the deaths in Chicago are African American or Hispanic, but mostly African American, and but they only make up 30% of the population. They keep going on about socio-economic levels. Well, not every African American lives in slums and stuff. Sure, there might be a higher percentage of African Americans in poverty. I mean, the diet might be a problem. But it's I'm just surprised that no one's talking about this. You know, vitamin D is such an easy thing to give to people. You can get really good high doses, you know, 1,000 milligrams. Take it every day. But I think that one of the reasons why New Zealand and Australia are going very well, our immune systems are probably quite strong coming out of summer. Australia's going really well. So are we. But the figures are going to be, you know, the figures are going to be distorted because there's going to be a lot of care home deaths and frail people, you know, palliative care. It's going to be quite tough on them. But I wonder if any of the care homes in New Zealand would consider what they've done in this one care home, St David's in Scotland. You know, going actually moving the bubble. Now it's a huge sacrifice, but it's called care. It'd be amazing. That's how I do it. I've got quite a few more to do. I don't think you want to watch me do the whole lot. I don't know what else there is. Oh, yeah, there is something I want to talk about. Let's get political. If you contracted coronavirus, hold that thought. If you catch the coronavirus, where do you think would be the best country in the world to survive it? Well, there's an unusual piece, very big over here. Where do you think the best country in the world would be to survive it? Well, it's interesting because of all the data on the Johns Hopkins, they record everything. New cases, deaths. Johns Hopkins website. A lot of the media don't use that one. Well, the funny thing is, if you live in a dictatorial communist country, the death rate per million is very, very low. China's the highest in all the communist countries, but their death rate is only 2.4 per million. Now to put that in perspective, what 2.4 per million, put it in perspective, Spain is around 300, Italy the same, the United States at the moment they're up to just over 200 per million, China 2.4, Vietnam, another communist country, 0. No deaths, no one's died of it in Vietnam, even though it borders China. And you can look at all the other Cambodia, Laos, big, might fold that one. Cambodia, Laos, Cuba. So on and so on. So now there's a reason people always say, oh, you know, China's done really well. Their lockdown has really worked. No. There's a reason why dictatorial countries, there's another word for it, But oppressive communist regimes like China, it's twofold. One, how do you control 1.4 billion people? Because when you live in an oppressive society where you see corruption, you see the communist officials living a high life and getting special privileges, because they break China down into little communities. So each community lives in these high rises, and there might be, say, several high rises in that one, and they have one Communist Party member who oversees that little community. So that's the first step before you get to local borough councils and all that sort of stuff. And they report back and they keep an eye on everybody and all that sort of stuff, and look, because there's always going to be dissidents. There's always going to be someone who wants to rebel when you live in an oppressive society. So to squash that, they've got to do very, very hard-handed, intensive measures, and that's common from the old days of East Germany and Russia and the Soviet Union and all those countries, Poland, Czechoslovakia, all those places at that time. So the same system. Then on the other hand, they've got to feed them propaganda to say that our system is the best in the world. Why would you want to live in a capitalist state and all this sort of stuff? So they use this false data to look how good we are. This is how good we are. This is why it's so good to live in China. Only 3,400 deaths, 1.4 billion people, 2.4 per million. So that's why they do it. Getting all political. But that's political science. That's been the norm since I was a kid. In the Eastern Bloc countries, that's how they ran. Huge top-down secret services, right down to these community leaders. And they also have, they recruit people to adopt their neighbours in and all that sort of stuff, because they get special privileges, to do things like that. But anyway, getting a little bit political. It's interesting though. Another thing I've got to do this morning, send that blade off for sharpening. The size of it. That's the blade that goes round and round and round in the chop cutter. Tricky little operation getting this ready. This gets sent down the line to these guys, courier sharpening. So I'll get the blade back in a few days. I've got my secondary blade on, which is sharp, but it's not as big. It's been worn down a bit, for the constant sharpening over the years, but it works, but not as good as this baby. There she is, all ready to go. Now just go get in touch with the courier, see if they're working today. Hopefully they are in the little village. Get that off for sharpening down to Tiawamutu.